Nonverbal communications are mostly, they're not affected. So gestures, uh, facial expressions, using gestures when you talk, all of those they still have. So you have to get in there and learn what those are, how to use them. Some people even go to a speech therapist and learn how to do this with their loved ones. I'm investigating that, and in the future we will talk about that. But that's important to learn nonverbal communications if you're working with your loved one. When you can't talk anymore with words, you rely upon your feelings. You rely upon those things that you know, how a person speaks, how loud they speak. But this may surprise you. There are three parts of communicating on a feeling basis, and this you need to know. 55% of it is body language. So when you come in a room, if you have your hands on your hips like this, it's really telling him, oh, she might be upset. If she comes in like this, he already knows you're angry, you're not accepting anything. So those are important things for you to learn. It's expression, it's postures, and it's let's say, raised eyebrows. That's kind of negative for some people. So all those things you're doing, you have to learn. 38% is something called tone of your voice. So if you go in and you got a loud tone of your voice and you're talking to him, he's going to feel like you're angry with him. Or if you go in a little low tone of voice like that, he won't hear anything you're saying. What's going to surprise you in this language, only 7% of the words you use are used in nonverbal language. So you have a husband that doesn't remember words. He doesn't remember what words mean. The test that I do, I'll show him a pen and I'll say, what is this? And if they say it's something besides a pen, let's say they say it's a ball, their naming ability is gone. They do better if they pick it up, but when they just look at it, their naming ability is gone. So all those things that you used to talk with your husband about, they're not there. So remember this, only 7% of the words that come out of your mouth work with the person who has to use verbal language, because in that part of the brain, it's gone. It's not there anymore. And the longer you have it, the more you get into it, the more you will find these problems. So by now you should be seeing that he does not have control over this. He can't wake up one day and know how to talk, or he can't remember those things. It doesn't work that way. So you're the one that has to change. He has no help for him. His is already gone, but you can change, you can make a difference. You have to have a caring attitude. You remain calm, kind of a matter-of-fact way. Sentences, keep them very short. By now you know your husband, you kind of know what he's picking up on. Only give him one thing at a time. It's like a child with learning disabilities. You can't tell them 2 and 3 things at one time when they have this problem. You can't say, Susie, go in your room and pick up your toys and put them in the chest. Well, if you've ever had a child with any learning disabilities or a young child, they do about half of that. If you tell your husband all those things, he's not going to get anything done. So you have to give very, very decisive information to him, one thing at a time, one idea at a time. You can't flood that brain because he can't take it. He doesn't have the way to communicate with you. You allow him time to answer you. He can answer many times, but we rush them. It takes him longer. When I go in a room with our members here, I always take a chair out, I pull it up, and I sit next to them. I smile, I'm silly. I reach out to touch their hand, and if it's acceptable, I'll touch their hand or I'll touch their back, and then I'll smile, and then I'll say one thing at a time. I want them to know who I am. I want them to feel safe with me when I come and sit down. Don't go in if your husband is on the couch and stand there in front of him and look down at him, because you're showing him disrespect. It's making you the important person because you're standing over him. You get a chair, you sit down with him, and that's the way you communicate. Those things are important. It's how you appear to that person. They have to see your mouth. They have to see the expressions on your face, because that's nonverbal communication.